It's Tenabale, and it's summer. It's like the third day of summer, and summer is popping off with the heat. And when I say summer is popping off with the heat, I mean weather. Weather. Okay? Like, summer, like, okay, and now. Like, and now. The heat. The heat is on. Usually the heat is on in the winter time, but yeah, summer coming with the heat in the summertime. Uh, Bit of captain's vlog. I am your captain on this voyage. On the screen is one of my previous, most recent off the hook quote. Off the hook. Um, Quote FO. Uh, what's it called? Slash. I did call it FO, right? Slash whip. It is in progress because I hadn't sewed down the shamrock in the middle. There, I said it, I confessed. I just positioned it as it would be um, to be sewed down. Okay. So that's my latest square. I gotta sew down the shamrock. The shamrock pattern did not call for it to be a 4-leaf clover. That is a 4-leaf clover. Um, I made it a 4-leaf clover. The pattern made it a 3-leaf clover. And I was like, 3-leaf? If you can make your own look, make your own look. So I made it a 4-leaf clover, and also the pattern had it a different color in the center square. The center was like a lighter green. What's it called? It was. Oh my goodness! I'm reminded of a movie, and that's the green that it was too. Okay, so the outside green was called, in the pattern, was called emerald green. This might be an emerald green. I don't know. I would have to look at the label, which I do have. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me see. Um, if this is a emerald. I don't see the color at the moment. Let me look closer. Ooh, made in India. Um, I'm not seeing the color just yet. It's an acrylic. It looked like it could pass for emerald. acrylic. I don't know. It doesn't have the color on there. It looks like it could pass for emerald green. Um, and then the other green that, okay, so emerald green was color B, which would be this darker green on the border. And the lighter green, what was that lighter green called? I think it spring green. I'm about to look it up in my handy dandy. Okay, yeah, spring green, correct. Oh my goodness, I'm reminded of a movie. um oh my goodness, I used to, oh, whatever, this, it's this movie with this spring green in it, and trolls. I didn't even, I, I guess I was kind of putting it together yesterday that that was the color from this movie I watched. Okay, so I didn't have spring green at the time, so I have this butter color that I've been into, that I've been diving into and making things with. So I used this butter color in the middle, and yeah. Also, I would like to talk about color variations of uh, color variations. Now, this is a square I didn't think too much of having color variations. Hold on. Can I do that from here? Let me check something. And I hadn't watched that movie in a while, but I have, no, I hadn't watched it in a while, wow. Well, well, I watched it maybe a few years ago, maybe a few years ago. I don't know how long it's been since I last watched it. Um, I was watching. Well, I guess it hadn't been too long ago. I was watching a a documentary on the movie, and the actors, a couple of them, they went to Comic Con or something like that for the movie because the movie has become a classic. Okay. Okay. Um. So my square. Um. So I did this square first because after my other square that I finished yesterday morning, early yesterday, I felt like doing this square because in my brain I kind of felt like this was the next square to do. But then I went to my book and then I saw like the next square was like right next to the square that I had finished. But I was like, oh well, I already had the shamrock square in my mind to get done from the book. And because also I didn't think I was gonna do a color variation of the shamrock. And I know that I'm about to do like color variations of um, the other square that comes after the ruffle square that I did. I did a square that I posted. So let me see something. So I was thinking, okay, this is one square I'm going to, and it is a square that I do have intentions of making a project with. Um, okay. So yeah, I do have future plan, plans for this square. Um, and I would like to add some other squares to this. There's a flower square that I would like to add to this. Okay. So when I do my project, there is a flower square that I saw that had like what do you call it? A color theme for the project that I'm thinking of creating. I don't know exact. Well, I could know exactly what the project is. Um, but yeah, the flower. There's a flower square that I hadn't done just yet because I was uh, working up these squares like in the order of my pickings, if you will. Um, so yeah, okay. So I was like, okay, so I'll do the shamrock and then have the shamrock square done, and then I'll go back to this other square and do all the color variations of that. But now that I've done the shamrock, and it's not in the, I don't know if this is why, but it's because the spring green isn't in the middle, like in the square. It's the butter color. I have some color variation ideas, and it would match with the color theme. Um, I got like some gold and yellow and off white and yellow type color things thought about. And I was like, what? I didn't know I was going to do a color variation of this one, but I guess I could. But then I kind of hesitate because I do have a goal. It's um, one of the goals that I had set aside for a jacket. Uh, but yeah. So, well, yeah, one of the yellow gold, the yellow gold I had set aside for a jacket. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So, did I do color variations for any other squares yet? I feel like I have. I feel like I feel like I went ham on one of these patterns and did like color variations. Or went, you know how you say went on a tangent and like made several squares. I'm trying to think which one that is that I did that with. Um, oh, that was in the book. That was in the book. Every Day with Granny Crochet. That's where I get the very variation squares from. I did variations of some of the squares in this book. The Every Day with Granny Crochet by Julia Maddow. Also, I figured out how to read two books at one time, and that is okay. So the two books I was reading at one time was this book by James. No, not by James. Well, could be, you know. Percival Everett. Uh, so yeah, I figured out. I may have definitely figured it out reading this book. I think I was trying to figure it out with the other book, uh, Every Day with Granny Crochet. I figured it out with James. Um, so I used two devices. I had my iPad, which my I pulled up my crochet book on my iPad, or vice versa. Actually, when I was reading James, I had my crochet square book on my phone. I pulled it up on my phone, and I had James playing on my iPad. Yeah, yeah. That's how I actually had it. So I had the pattern on my phone, and that went all right for a couple of rows, a few rows of crocheting the squares. Um, I think with every day with Granny Crochet, I had it the opposite way. I had every day with Granny Crochet on my pad, and I had a book playing on my phone, like the Gin with or Gin with by Jessica Cage, and that series. Yeah, when I was reading that series, I had it. I had it like that. But yeah, for my most recent read, I had James playing on my pad, and for a couple of rows, I had pulled up my phone with the book. Yeah, so yeah, I've been saving books on my phone and utilizing that for my patterns so that I can have my patterns readily available on hand. So with the color variations, yeah, that's what I did. Okay, so I'm thinking a couple of other colors that I have, put them together, and I kind of wanna do them now that I'm thinking about it. I just didn't think I'd be doing that for this square. I was already kind of like prepared to do that for the other one, and I kind of am prepared to do that with this one because I do have my yarn out. My yarn is out and about because I was looking for, well, not necessarily because I was looking for a color, um, but yeah, I've been substituting colors in a few patterns. Um, I think I came across my first, hopefully last, typo in a pattern. I think it's a typo. I'm not exactly sure. Like I counted and counted at least twice, and I came up with. I think my number was 29. Uh, five five cluster, and the pattern said that I would have 26 cluster at the end of the row, and I counted twice, and I had like 29. So like my first thought is rip it out and start over. But I'm like, okay, skirt, I can't do that because I done made knots and things like that. So I was like, okay, just trust the process. Go on with this next row. Trust the process and see how it goes. So when I did that and I counted my stitches for the previous row, each stitch was accounted for. So either that 26 is a typo or I counted incorrectly. Either way, when I kept going, every stitch was accounted for and the square came out perfectly. I'm talking about um, the ruffle square. Let's see if I can pull it up. If I can. If not, I've already posted it in my crochet groups. Hey, crochet groups. Thank you, girls. And fellers and women's and all the peoples. So this is the square that I think is a typo in the pattern. If not, it's all good. It turned out well because the previous row was cool and the row after that was cool. So all the stitches lined up fine. It's just when I saw that it said 26 and mine wasn't adding up to 26, I almost ripped out what I had. But then I was like, I could, rip it out and try again to get 26, or I could just keep on going. And usually when I rip my stuff out, like my progress out, I'll be like, oh my goodness, I did that a little bit too premature. Like there was another way I could have avoided frogging my work, but yeah. So I avoided frogging the work. All the stitches was accounted for, and voila. Here's the second to what the second to last square that I made yesterday. This one I did in the daytime. The shamrock I completed in the evening. Um, I may do some more shamrocks, color variations. And so I don't know if I'm gonna do it sooner than later or what, though, because there's just a hint of hesitation because of the colors that's used. Um, but it is an idea, you know. So it's like rock with that idea or what? What? Mm, I gotta sew down the shamrock. And it's a very simple square, actually. Um, the embellishment is the shamrock. Other than that, it's quite simple. The shamrock square. This okay. So nothing simple about this ruffle square. It was very technical. this ruffle square. Uh, this ruffle square was the pattern I thought had a typo, and I'm willing to be wrong. And I would have liked to have, like, this is one of the moments where I I would have liked to, like, ask ask the ask the person who created the pattern, like, can you check my work, please? Like, is this how many things supposed to be on my work? Yay or nay? Um, but yeah, I counted and I continued, and everything worked out. All the stitches, because I was like, okay, well, if all the stitches don't work out after this row, then you got a problem. Then I know that I messed up. Like, I did something. But if everything is a go, like it was, then it's uh then I can continue with the work, you know. So I just continued with the work, and everything lined up. Because there has been squares where I miscounted, and I did have to take out the rows. Now that was on rows that I didn't complete, like, that didn't have knots and weren't joint colors, and it was a very simple undo redo uh, situation. Now with this, okay, so that I had to take out. I miscalculated some stitches with my well my bear, my my bear my teddy bear, my teddy bear square. Here's my teddy bear square, and I miscalculated some stitches in the circular part, and I had to realign my stitches so that they could come out, so that my end stitch could be aligned, and I could have all the stitches I needed on there. I had miscalculated um, where to start the next row, and because it was the same color, it was fine. Like in the pink, like, even though I had to fasten off the previous row and then add the yarn to the next row, it was the same color, so I didn't think, like, too hard about that. Seeing it was the same color, and also I was missing like 4 to 5 stitches when I got to the end, so I had to take that out, re-add it, and align my stitches correctly so that I could end with the correct stitch count. Also, one of these previous squares I did, didn't have the stitch count. I think it might have been the Shamrock. Yeah, it was the Shamrock. Like, I had gotten used to the patterns telling me what stitch count was at the end of each row, so I was looking forward to it. But in the Shamrock square pattern, that's not a thing. So I guess because it's just a square, granny, just it's just a like plain granny square. There's no need for that feature to be part of the pattern. So yeah, I just noticed that it wasn't there, and I was like, what? Where is it? I had gotten used to it, like it's supposed to be there in every pattern. But that's just because I've been reading so many other patterns that had it, like this teddy bear square had the stitch count for each row. Also, the ruffle square and every other square that I've done from this book called 101 uh, crochet squares. Like it specifically says crochet squares. Um, and it's by Jean Lee Leon Hauser, Leinhauser. And so far, it's been my favorite square book. My first square book, okay, and my favorite so far. Like it's my favorite that I've seen so far. I also see some other books that I'm gonna be giving a read. Um, I've added to my favorites. I've added to my TBR some more crochet books, some more crochet square books that I did mention in a previous live. I mentioned that I added a few different square books to the TBR. Um, yeah. Oh, also, I have a question for those who crochet squares or for those who read pattern books. Do you stay in the books? Like, man, I know some people do. Like, they'll stay in the book till they make what they're gonna make, and then they close the book up, or they just stay in the book and create everything that they would like to make from the book. Now, this is one of those books that I'm thinking I'm staying in there and making all the things that I would like to make. Also, Every Day with Granny Crochet is another book I'm staying in and making all the things. Also, the other books that I've added to my TBR, I would stay and make all the things out of the book. So it's like stepping into another realm, if you will, stepping inside the book and then creating all these things. And then there's so much in the book. So the book is giving. I love that I'm enjoying a lot of the patterns in the book. I see that Leon Hauser has created like a crochet stitch book. I've added that to my TBR as well because I figure I like this uh, crochet square book so much that I would like her stitch book. So added a stitch book, and here we are. Like, um, let me see. I'm about at the point where I kind of feel like I'm like done so many squares that I lost count, but not really. But it's it's, it's let's see. I got the heart square. I could pull up all the pictures, but I posted them. Um, I did mention in the previous live how many squares I've done, and then whatever that number that is, I've done two more, and then I'll do some variations of the shamrock that is going towards a project, and then there's another square that I'll do some color variations of just because I don't necessarily have the colors that the pattern call for. However, I do have a few colors that I can play with and give that same pattern effect. And I have quite a few colors that would do it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make it up in several variations of these colors that I have. Like um, I have a purple. I have which the a dark purple. Well, is that a dark purple? I guess it would be considered a dark purple. So the pattern calls for dark purple, purple, and light purple. I do have a dark purple, and I do have a a lighter purple, and I was thinking of using those in a pink, and then I have a couple of different pinks. I have a light pink, and I have a darker light pink. So I was thinking of doing like a color variation of those. And then also, okay, so the dark purple, light purple, pink, I was thinking of doing that color variation. Then the light purple, light pink, lighter pink color variation. And then I have like this, it's like a reddish. Uh oh. Oh, okay. Yay. Let's see. I have like it's kind of red. I don't know what this is. What color are you? Um, um, because at first I thought it was purple, but then when I began maybe it's like a grape. Because when I work it up, it's like a reddish. It kind of looks reddish as I'm holding it too. So it's more like a dark, maybe wine color, like a dark wine color on the reddish side, more than the purple side. Um, maybe dark mauve. Not mauve. Mauve is pink. A dark um, mulberry. So I was thinking maybe have that with a pink and lighter pink color variation. Um, and then I have a red that maybe I could add to the mix and have like a red with this wine color, grape color, um, and a pink, and then also with the red have maybe a pink and a lighter pink. So that's all the color variations that square make it, that pattern make it. So that's a lot for one pattern there. Um, that I can play with. So yeah, I specifically skipped this square because I was gonna do color variations with it. And it's a new pattern for me. It's not one that I'm familiar with. And such as all of these squares, uh, except for maybe the shamrock square, is the most simplest. It's the most simplistic square, the shamrock square. The cat square was pretty simplistic, uh, except for the making of the cat. But yeah, and then the cat has a border. So yeah, the shamrock is like the basic of the square so far. Um, okay, here's the cat square. I had to count the stitches, and the stitches had to line up for the next row. So this was not basic. I actually had to take out a row and restart it because I had translated the pattern incorrectly. So yeah, so far the shamrock is the most simplest, the most familiar square to me. I was able to learn the shamrock, how to do a shamrock. That was new. I don't think I created a shamrock at the time. So yeah, I was interested in that, and the pattern tells how to create the shamrock for the square. Um, the square that I thought was a pair of shades that caught my attention because I was like, okay, a pair of shades square, all right, I'm feeling it. Um, was actually a butterfly, and I was like, a butterfly? I don't see it, but okay, if you say so, it looked like a pair of shades to me. Well, it wasn't a pair of shades, and as I was making up the pattern, it looked more and more like a butterfly. And when I got done with the pattern, is when the pattern said to do the end wrapping, is when it like formed the shape, and I saw where the magic took place and how I could easily mistake it for a pair of shades. I was like, okay, it is giving shades to me, but yeah, I could see the butterfly now. Yeah, it was given butterfly as I was creating the uh, pattern. So that was very cool to see that transformation in that square as it was as I was creating it. Here it is here. So I could see it being a butterfly. I can also see it being a pair of shades. To me, like, yes, girl, a pair of butterfly shades, okay? But yeah, it's supposed to be a butterfly. The pattern says it's a butterfly. It's a butterfly. With this square, I also had to count the stitches to make sure all the stitches was accounted for. And it started off different. If I can recall correctly, this square started off different. It's not a simplistic square. It looks a bit simplistic. However, there's a bit of technician teams going on up under that butterfly. So there's like some different stitch working for it to form um, the square that the butterfly is laying on. So that is cool. That like consideration of placement is thought of with these squares, so that the embellishment can properly be displayed on the squares. Now I think, oh yeah, I was about to say now I think these squares are the only squares that have embellishments. Like I've done all the squares that have embellishments in this book, except there are a couple of more that I hadn't gotten to yet. Um, there's a Santa square with a Santa face on the square. And there's a cross square. think that's an embellishment as well. So those are the only two embellishments squares that I haven't done in this book so far, but they are on my list. Um, there is a lot of squares in this book that are on my list. Also, I see like there's a color thing going on in this book, as well as stitch things. So this book packs a lot. Like you could, I made so much going with the different things. Like you could go with the colors themes, and have all those squares together. I do see some squares I would do that with. Um, there's like a couple of light purple, dark purple, yellow squares, and I do have those colors. Uh, so those I would do something with those squares together. Um, and that is like a flower square and a not flower square. So maybe it's giving like flower. It's okay. So one of the squares is like a flower blossom or a flower bloom, and then the other square is like plain. So it's kind of maybe giving like maybe a closed flower or maybe a planted seed type perhaps. But because it has that color theme, I would think it would go together. So I would put those together. There's also a few uh, red, white, and blue squares. Red, white, and blue, red, and white. That's how do you say alphabetically correct? So blue, red, and white. There's some blue, red, and white squares themed in this that I'm like, ooh, that's giving uh, I thought when I saw it, I thought Spider Man, because of the not only the color themes, but also the designs of the square. The designs of the square are giving shoot that web. It's giving shoot that web uh, vibes. So like yeah, it's a few squares in here that look like Spider Man's webs and such. So I would put those together in a project, and the Christmas squares. There's some Christmas squares. I'll put those in a project, and then there's several other ones that could be uh, what they could be. This this so far has been an excellent gateway book to uh, crochet squares. Actually, I'm telling you, my gateway book was or is the uh, the book that I just shared. That was the pop off, and I will get back to that book and crochet some more out of that book. This is the book I'm referring to. So that's the gateway. Like that was the one that opened up the gate. Now that I'm inside, the 101 Crochet Square book has been revealed to me. And then the other books that I've got on my TBR, those, those are being revealed to me and are on my TBR to read. Uh, and I was able to count this book and um, this book that's on the screen now. I was able to count it as a book that I read for this year, and the 101 crochet squares. I was able to count that um, as a book that I read. So I was like very happy that I was ecstatic, elated even to be able to count those as books that I've read because I have been reading them. Um, um, because at first I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know if I could put them on my list as books that I've read, so I kind of was feeling some kind of way about that. Like, well, and then I came to the conclusion that I could put it on my um, physical list. So I do see readers that journal their readings with also a physical list of books, and they may, differ from the digital book logs, so that you keep track with every every book you read. So I did have that thought. I was like, yeah, okay, so I can have that. Um, but yeah, I was able to clock these digitally, so I was very grateful for that. Um, there was another crochet book I was looking at, I think. I don't know what it is at the moment, but I did like look it up to see if it could be clocked digitally, but it wasn't coming up. So I was like, okay, some books can be pulled up, some books can't. Um, the two that I was mostly into and reading, they could be clocked. So I was like, yay! Happy reader here. Um, very happy reader. So that's is that all the update? I've been posting in the groups. Thank you so much for all the encouragement and group activity. Thinking about updating my blog because that is something that I could do possibly. It's possible. Um, Movies. I was looking for something to watch. Um, so like while I was crocheting, because sometimes I have something on while I'm crocheting and reading the patterns at the same time. So I've been like watching reruns, something that I hadn't seen before. Because if it's something that I've seen before, I'll I don't like to crochet to something I hadn't seen before because I'll do more watching than crocheting. Especially when I gotta read the pattern, I was like, oh no, oh no. Like, um, I was watching something that I hadn't seen before. It was like a show reaction, and I was into the show reaction, so I read like the next step of the pattern so that I could do the next step, which was the shamrock square. So I read, the pattern. Then I was watching while I was working on the row, and then I would pause what I'm watching, go to the pattern, read the next row. That's how I did that. And I don't know of any new movies coming out other than uh, I see that there'll be a new Tyler Perry movie coming out called Mud Deer's. What's it called? Mud Deer's Destination Wedding. I see that scheduled on Netflix to come out on the 11th of this month. So that's the only movie I know of that's um, scheduled to come out this month. Um, there's a lot of movies in theaters, other movies that have went to streaming. Final Destination, Bloodlines has already went to streaming. Um, I guess the other movies are still in theaters, the ones that came out in spring. So yeah, I don't know of any new movies coming out in summer yet. I hadn't heard about any movies just yet because all the movies are being. Oh, actually, I guess I have. They just not on my. They're just not on my movie list to watch. That's why I hadn't. That's why I don't count them. But I have heard of a couple. But yeah, like they're not on my movie list. Like, oh, okay. Next, what else coming out? like, like skipping through the records. What else is there? That's how I'm feeling about the movies right now. Um, but yeah, Mother's Destination Wedding is on my list to watch. It was mentioned in. It was mentioned as an idea, I guess. Yeah, a bit of an idea on what it's a movie. I don't know what the name of it is at the moment, but it's the one with Darby and his grandma and mom comes to Medea's house. They come to town, and there's a graduation, and Darby's mom. No, Darby's grandmother says to Medea, maybe you should have a destination wedding or a destination movie or a destination trip or something like that, like a destination movie. Like she was saying, like, come and visit me and make it a destination movie. Muddy comes to Ireland or something like that. Dot dot dot. Something like that. So it was mentioned in that movie, and that Muddy have a destination movie, something other wedding situation movie. So now that's scheduled to come out this month. Wait, this is not July. Okay, hold on. This is still June. Okay. Yeah. Also, I was watching a Tyler Perry movie called um, I don't know what it's called. Was that the funeral? I think I guess it was called Mother's Family Reunion Funeral. I don't know. I think it was called Mother's Funeral. I don't know exactly the whole title, but yeah, it was. I guess it was the funeral one. I mean, of course it was the funeral one, but I'm trying to like relay the whole title. Um, it has funeral in the title, and when I saw funeral and how Hattie say funeral, I was like, how come they didn't? But I can also gather that why it wasn't written as how like Hattie would say funeral. Like why when I saw it as firm, like how Hattie said funeral, she don't say funeral, she say firm, she say. So that was in my head when I saw it. I was just saying like, okay, like my dear's firm, like. But I could understand like if somebody hadn't heard that word said like that, they might not catch on to what that word is supposed to be. So he wrote it as the word is spelled. Firm. So I was watching that and um, yesterday and noticed that the officer in that movie, the Froom, the mother is Froom. Or I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but I'm saying it like that because Hattie said it like that. Um, Mother's Funeral. I don't know if it's actually called Mother's Funeral, but it has. I think it has the word mother and the word funeral in the title. Now, there's a scene where Brian is pulled over by an officer, and I like how Brian he goes into this voice and he be like, okay, I'm just gonna comply. I'm just this is he do like a whole nother like voice, and then Madia and Joe, and they be like, okay, you gonna comply? You gonna comply? You go. So in that scene, the officer comes up to Brian's car, and Madia and Joe, they already got their hands out the window. And Brian was like, what are y'all doing? You better not be throwing nothing out the window. And they was like, I'm not throwing nothing out the window. I got my hands out the window and complying, and all that. And then so the officer comes up to the car, and Brian's like, I'm going to show you, boop, boop, boop. So the officer tells Brian to show his hands. So Brian gets his hands out his lap and put them on the the steering wheel, and the officer is like, so I'm like, Epiphany. Is that the same officer that's in his latest film called Straw? Like, he is that the same? I don't know if it's the same actor, but I'm thinking it's the same officer. And yeah, I like that I saw that epiphany there when I was rewatching Muddy's funeral movie, Muddy's funeral movie. Maybe it's called Muddy's Family Funeral. Um, but yeah, the officer that's in that movie, I think, I think that's the same officer. I'm not exactly sure, but he's giving, yes, that's the same officer as in Tyler Perry's latest film called Straw, available on Netflix now. There's an officer in that movie that uh, does what he does and says what he says, and it fits the mannerism of the officer that's in the movie Mother's Family Funeral movie. So yeah, that's cool to. Well, I don't know if it's cool, but I'm about to say that's cool to see that that character had a reappearance. But yeah, I think that's the same officer. I was like, whoa, like he was. He didn't maybe because Brian didn't uh, cut him off is maybe why he didn't go as far with Brian as he did with in this newest movie. Cause I'm like, if that is the same officer, which I do think it is. Um, he didn't. He was there. He just because I was almost like, what is like he has escalated. He has escalated from this movie to that movie, but it could be that maybe it's a different time of day, it's a different situation, of course. Um, in in the movie Mother's Family Funeral, in that movie he's on duty. I think in this latest movie, Straw, he's off duty at the time at the time of the incident. I think he's off duty. I hadn't watched the movie myself, like by myself. I've I've watched it via movie reactions. So I've seen movie reactions of Straw. Um, what I'm getting, and I've seen a couple of movie reviews. What I'm getting just from that is that um, for my point of view, just by what I just said, it's giving a bit of secret window feeling vibe to it, a bit, just a bit. It has a couple of things that I've seen in uh, specifically um, the crack in the wall. Um, there's a scene in Secret Window that has like a crack. So the crack represents like, I don't know, crack in reality. Um, and like how things are revealed in Secret Window seems similar to how things are revealed in Straw. I don't know if there was a big like sound effect when things were revealed in Straw, like how it was in um, Secret Window. When things were revealed in Secret Window, like there was a big sound effect with the crack, and as things were coming together as realization for the character split. Um, and reveal it. Now that part is kind of, it's opposite but the same at the same time. Like with the Johnny character, he, well, I guess they did the same thing just differently. He embraced that character, and she embraced it. She embraced what happened as well as he was embracing it as well. He just like put on a persona with his via the hat. Um, she didn't put on a persona, but the reveal was similar, like what was happening versus what wasn't happening. Same situation. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing is similar, which is fine with me. You know, they both like, I don't know if you want to call it a mental thriller, but definitely Secret Window was. This, I guess this one is too. I don't know. I hadn't watched it. Um, only through the movie reactions and movie reviews. I've only seen it that way. But yeah, I don't know if there was a big sound effect and crack up the wall like um, how Johnny, how Secret Window was like. His like was like a split up, but I don't know if hers was there from the beginning or if it split. I don't know when her cracking the wall split. Like if she woke up like that, if the building was already like that, and that was just representation. Because I saw it in a thumbnail. Is the reason I know that there's a crack up the wall. And then when I saw the crack up the wall, I kind of was like, okay, so I associated it with Secret Window. After a couple of times that I saw that thumbnail, I'm like, oh, okay, Secret Window. Like, uh, that's cool. Great, excellent. And that officer though, I think that's the same officer. I don't know the officer name in the film, the funeral movie. Maybe it's on his name tag to where we could do some Easter egg hunting and see if his name tag is the same, or name is the same for the movie, or however, look up the cast and crew. I don't know if the officer name is said. I think it might be. I know it is said in the latest movie, Strong. I don't necessarily know if it's in this mother's family funeral movie. Said it might be. I think so, but I don't know exactly. I was laughing, kind of, sort of, at Brian uh, and Madea. But they were like, "You're gonna comply. You're gonna comply. Okay, you're gonna comply. You're gonna learn today." And then Brian, he goes into this like, yeah, when you have to comply, like that's what's happening. Like you're not complying, so I'm going to show you how it's done. So yeah, I was entertained with that scene. Uh, okay, so and then the previous scenes, but yeah, that scene and previous scenes. No, I was about to say I think that's all the funny in the movie, but then with the uncle, there's like a couple of more funny scenes with the uncle um, that wanted to get um, a cake for the occasion, and they heard that something happened, so they all left. I get when they heard that a situation happened, like everybody, almost everybody, left the house, and nobody left the door open for the uncle to get out, and he was like, "Hold on, wait for me," and I'm like, "Sir, you not gonna put the cake down before you leave? You couldn't leave with the cake." So I don't know where he thought he was gonna go, where they was going with the cake, but yeah, that didn't even happen because nobody left the door open for him. And then what he thought he was gonna, I guess he thought he was gonna open the door by himself. And then the dude that's sitting there, just sitting there, he ain't offered to pick up the cake for the man. He ain't offered to open the door. He just in la la land. I guess he was there to clean up the cake after the fact. I don't know, man. I like that the uncle used his I don't know what is it called, a throat apparatus. I'm glad he used that to cry when he rolled out crying. He was like, eh. I was like, okay, thank you, sir, for expressing your cry. Oh, let's see. I could. Let's see if I could look it up to see if that's the same officer. also I watched a bit of my dear's Christmas yesterday um, with D as the mama. Well, no, not D. Well, yeah, her name is D. Her character name was D on the Wayans Brothers. Um, I, they really was getting on her about um, I don't know, just I was like, okay, so it's family reunion. I'm trying to see what the other movie name is. But they was how do you say Harden, harping on the mother character. Like, girl, why you acting like that towards your concerned mother and you ain't told her not a lick of truth. You ain't told the ex boyfriend a lick of truth. Like you ain't find time to tell nobody a lick of truth. But the mama's supposed to accept the nothing that you told her. And then when you're finally forced to tell the mama, then you like attitude. And then expect the mama not to have time to process everything. Like they really didn't give that mama no time. They was like, deal with it, mother. A mother's family funeral. There it is. Okay, let's see. Cast. Let's see who played this. If you can see what the officer name is. Okay, his real name Joel. They just got his first name on here. Police officer Joel Rush. Um, I was trying to see if the character had a name other than that. Cast. Okay, so the way my phone font is set up, I only see police O dot dot dot. I don't see any more than that. To get the full scope. Okay, maybe this has it. IMDb. Maybe that has the full scope I'm looking for. Yeah. This has the full scope. That I'm looking for. Okay, cast. There he is. Okay, it just says officer. Okay, so it doesn't, on here, it doesn't give that name. So I'd have to watch the movie again and pay attention to the name. Pay attention to the name as I'm paying attention to the laughs. Because I'll be paying attention to the laughs. Officer, okay, okay, I'm gonna comply. Okay. That's what Brian was saying. Like he do like a different voice when he's talking in the car. Than he usually speaks. Also, I saw another. I guess I've been having a bit. I don't know if I want to say Tyler Perry marathon, but yeah, it's a bit like that at the moment. But not. I didn't do it on. I didn't seek out to do that, but it's fine. Cause sometimes I seek out to do like marathons of certain actors. Um, so I had just watched like the other day. I was watching uh, what's the movie called Mother's Witness Protection Program, and the scene with Romeo and the other actor, Brian has to get in the middle of them and break them up, and then after everything is quieted down, somebody in the background like, "You need any help in there?" And then Brian's like, "Yeah, everything's cool. I got it." I was like, they ain't even come out. They ain't even check. They ain't even look. They just finally asked after the fact. And then the person in the background, I don't even think they looked, but they was they was about their business, so they kept on working. And Brian uh, broke up them two, and he was a bit like he was a bit flustered, just like his breathing was a bit higher, like level wise, but he was he was quite subdued in that transaction. I was like, he kept his calm during that moment. I was like, that was cool to see. Like, Brian, you cool? You okay? You all right? And but yeah, he kept his cool and told Romeo to leave and to tell his father about what was going on. But in this movie, um, the Muddy's family funeral, this newly engaged woman called her fiance and told him that she saw his brother at the airport and they was catching a car, but then they wind up not catching the car, so a car together. So I'm like, well, you called him and told him that. You ain't need to call him and tell him that, cause then now they looking for you to, arrive with dude, but then y'all didn't arrive together because he uh, brushed her off, just he just dismissed her, and so she left early instead of staying. So she arrived earlier than he did. And so they like, well, where the brother? Well, why you didn't ride with him? Well, you said you were gonna ride with him. And then she was like, I lost him. Hey, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we ain't come together because she trying to say because she lost him in the airport or whatever. Oh, so I wanted to mention how I think I think it was Hattie. Hattie had asked Brian, basically, I think she was fishing for a compliment, and or no, or Brian gave her a compliment, and then she was like, "Oh, you like how I look, Brian?" Like, it be the voices for me more like the characters, and then so she was like, "You think I look nice, Brian?" And then so Brian was like, I said you look nice now. I ain't saying nothing else. I'm like basically I ain't coming over to you. I just said you look nice. Oh my goodness. And then Joe say, well, you don't see me sitting here. How do I look? How do I look? So Joe was fishing for a compliment, and Brian say, Brian say what he say, but I don't know if he might have wanted to say, or because I said, you sitting over there looking like you're looking. And then, but Brian didn't say that per se. He said something else. And yeah, and then you got, is her name? No, her name not Mabel. Bam, Bam, and her fur. And when I see her fur, I be wanting to crochet me a fur vest like hers. There is some fox fur. Is it called fox fox? I think it's FUAX, something like that. FAUX, something like that. Fur or no yarn, and I'm like. I be looking at what she got on. I'm like, okay, what is that? Is that two panels on the front and then one panel on the back? I be thinking of like how I can assemble that and make my own uh, uh, fur. That's one of my favorite yarns. When I saw it, I got it in the gray and the pink, and there were some other colors available. There was a brown and a black. Um, so yeah, I liked all of them. I like the Pokemon. You gotta get them all, and then you need several because it's not a lot of yarn in those games. Um, so the ones I did get, I did make a couple of things with. But yeah, I'd be looking at her vest like, how can I assemble me such a thing as that? And she talk about her fur and how she finally gets to wear a fur, and and her and Joe have some laughs, or I be laughing when her and Joe is talking. When her and Joe talking, I be laughing. uh, so yeah. I, so yeah, squares, glorious squares. And then you got the apparatuses to put squares in. You got the baskets. I may need I may need some baskets. I'm trying to think what I got to put my squares in. I'm thinking crochet baskets. I've seen people have crochet baskets of various sizes. What? For them to store stuff in. Um, and I do have a couple of basket patterns, um, but I, I'm not sure I got the basket yarn. Baskets take up a lot of yarn. Um, with the yeah, like I got little skeins. Like it's gonna take yeah, yeah. Like I got one pattern that calls for bulky yarn, while one strand bulky yarn. My one strand bulky yarn, I was looking forward to making that into like something else. Um, or I do have a pattern that calls for two strands put together to make a stiffer yarn stitch. But I'm like, that's a lot too. Um, and I just I'm not seeing the yarn for it. Like I kind of like got all my yarn for specific specific things. Um, um, yeah, and I was like, I said I was trying not to go into the yarns that I do have already separate for certain patterns, and I found myself looking through the yarns that I have for other objects. So I was like, eek. um, so um, also on my schedule, or I should say my TBC to be crochet list has been added a pillow around. I think it's called True Blue Pillow. The pattern is called that, and also a market bag, a market tote. That's both of those are on my to uh, to be crochet list. I added the patterns to my or I yeah, I added the patterns to my list so that I could get to them easier and be able to read them easier. Um, so yeah, that is on the horizon. I don't know exactly when, but soon, soon. I don't know. I put them on the list after I worked up this after I was practicing reading that new pattern and working up the pattern and learning it and translating it and all that. I kind of needed a breather from new patterns, even though I'm looking at a new pattern every day. I'm looking at a new pattern every day, but yeah. So I'm going to work in those items, the True Blue and the Market Totes. I'm going to work them in to my schedule uh, to break up a bit of the mundane with these squares. Um, Even though it's a new pattern I'm working on, like almost two different squares a day, depending on my take of the pattern. I can work it in a day or two. The ruffle square took me 2 days. Um, but I had started it after I finished the bear square. So like I finished the bear square in the morning and I started the other square in later on, like in that day after the bear square. So then I finished the ruffle square the previous morning and then I completed the shamrock square in the evening. So that's how that's going. Now there are some squares that took 2 days that I did previously, and there's some that took one day. So yeah, I'm looking forward to completing these other patterns of objects. I may only get to do like a panel for at the moment for the True Blue Pillow uh, because that's what I have out at the moment is the yarn I think the yarn for one panel, because I think this pillow calls for 2 balls of yarn. And at the moment, I only have 1 ball of yarn out for that pattern. Now for the totes, I have the yarn out for the totes, and I'll see about I can, get that worked up. But yeah, I'm thinking about going ahead and making the one panel, and then when I get the other yarn out, make the other panel when I get the other yarn out. And these are my recycled yarns that I'll be working with those specific patterns. So yeah, there are containers, like little, I guess they're called containers, little squares, circular square items for collecting things, that is not on a massive scale as a basket per se, that is also on my reading list. Like, it's all on my reading list. Like, it's all there. So the cushion, true blue, true blue pillowcase, and the tote are patterns that I already had, and I'm revisiting them now that I've learned a, more of how to read patterns. So yeah, I've been revisiting older patterns that I've had previously, and re-looking at those with the skills that I now have to complete those patterns that I was interested in and that I collected. So, looking forward to that. With the skills that I now have acquired. Come here, pattern. I know the basic pattern stuff at the moment. Some of them, what is it called? Special stitches. I'm so glad special stitches give directions. Special stitches use. I'm so glad they give directions. Some of them do. Some patterns give directions for those things. Cause I'm like, you gonna tell me how to do that, aren't you? And then sometimes the pattern is like, nope. And I'm like, why not? And the pattern is like, um, push to the side, and I won't do that pattern because I don't know that special stitch yet. Um, so yeah, that would be something I would have to research to do that specific pattern, which I have done before. Looked up how to do a stitch while I was working on a pattern. Okay, so I looked up. Okay, so Joe Rush. Let me see if that's the same person in straw. Do I get a list of casts? Top cast. Okay, I don't know. Mm, Oh no, that's not him. Is his name Lewis Jones or Dan? Or Officer Oliver? I don't know which one it was. I don't see Joe's name specifically for like a returning actor. I don't know if that character was meant to be the same or maybe entirely different. I don't know, but it seemed the same, if not, similar. They were quite similar. And so I just was like, hey, is that the same one? Do we have a crossover here? Did I see a crossover? Like it seemed like maybe the movie did a crossover with that character. I don't know though. I don't know if that character crossed over from my dear's family funeral. movie to the current movie Straw. I don't know if there's a crossover. It seemed like it could be a crossover though. I'd like to thank my co-host during this stream, uh, this live stream. Give a big thumbs up for the fan, everyone. My co-host during this live stream, the fan, has made a reappearance. I don't think I've had the fan as a co-host for a while now. Maybe since last summer. So yeah, the fan may uh, may show up during live streams from time to time. May make a guest appearance from time to time during uh, this season. Okay, I have a feature added for weather, um, and I figured out how to utilize it. Uh, you type, what did I type? I typed exclamation mark, weather, space, and then I typed where I would like to know what the weather is, um, with spaces according to like how you would type it normally. So the only difference is I typed exclamation mark weather at the beginning with a space, and then where I want like to know what the weather is. Okay, I didn't know how to do that exactly, so I just figured that out. Um, Anybody in the chat can utilize that. I think I think the setting is for everyone. You can try it, and it says, "What's the weather like today? Weather for New York City. Conditions are clear with a temperature of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Uh, the wind is blowing from the southwest at 7 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 67%. So that is a cool feature. Nice going. So looking forward to seeing a couple of more cool features that I've added up in here for your chat engagement. Also with the teams and teams about round and about on your screen display via thumbnailery. thick layer. If open, has been sent. Let me check on that. Okay, it said it said if opened. Okay. Uh, Trying to see where I see that at. Okay. Okay, song playing. Okay. That's what's up. She said, hola, ¿cómo está? She said, konnichiwa. She said, pardon my friend. She said, bonjour, madame. She said, say, nothing, no, I don't, I know. Oh, I love her more. She said, hola, ¿cómo está? She said, pardon my friend. I said, bonjour, madame. She said, say, nothing, no, I don't, I know. You know I love her more. I'm feeling kinda, I'm feeling reckless. Let me hold you, let me grab you by the necklace. Okay, excellent. So I unlocked another feature there. Ah. Oh. So, yeah. Ah! Goodness. Alrighty then. So I was learning about tapestry crochet, and I had some questions about, is it the same as mosaic? Are the terms interchangeable? And so I did some more research on what is the same as both of them, what's the difference in both of them, and learned that they are different. They do have similarities, however, they are different. Tapestry yarn, tapestry crochet has a couple of different methods to them. Did I say mosaic? Mosaic crochet is a whole nother method entirely as far as the basic tapestry method, which is to have yarns floating in the back. Mosaic yarns create rows of colors. So I haven't done mosaic. Did I say mosaic yarn? I meant mosaic crochet. Form rows of colors. I have not done mosaic crochet just yet. I'm looking into it though, and it looks like I would enjoy it and it would be fun and great. I have tapped a bit into tapestry crochet. I'm preparing to. Okay, so I've tapped into like the basic floating method and the basic stitching method. Um, so that's without any form of techniques. That's just the basic. I have looked up some techniques, and then there's intarsia that could be added to the tapestry crochet method. Along with the tips and tricks that I'm looking into, that I've looked into and researched how to apply those things to tapestry crochet. Mosaic crochet looks like I would like it as well. I may have some mosaic patterns on the TBC. I don't know exactly. I'll have to look and go through the pattern. I saw a postcard blanket pattern that is so beautiful and colorful, and it has words on it, so I don't know if that method is mosaic or tapestry. I'll have to look closer at the pattern. But yeah, that's on my TBC. And either way, I'm going to attempt mosaic crochet eventually, and also may return to tapestry crochet with the tips and tricks, which are the intarsia method along with a couple of other tricks to get neat streamlines, neat yarn lines. Uh, TL Yarn Crafts has an okay lettering that I kind of was thinking might be a bit big for me at the moment. So I found a what do you call that? I curated a smaller proportion. Like my solid squares might not be the same number. Like I shortened the solid. I shortened the sides a bit so that I have a smaller number of stitching. I don't know though. We'll see. Because she does offer her chart with all the numbers and things. And I think my confusion with when I was tapestry crocheting, not that pattern, but some other pattern, I think I got confused because I didn't number the stitches. I thought I'd be okay not numbering those stitches. Um, but yeah, I did get confused, and I did add stitches when I didn't need to add stitches, and then I recalibrated, but all within the same um, pattern. So that may have added to why my picture looked like it looks like it looks. So numbering the stitches is helpful because I had a different number in mind because of a previous pattern that I had a similar number in mind, but it wasn't the same. But for a moment, I thought it was the same, so I thought I needed to add. I thought I was missing some stitches, but I wasn't. So yeah, number the stitches. Because I numbered the rows, but I didn't number the stitches. Number the stitches at the top and the bottom of the chart. Is a note to self. Especially well, with the charts that have it already numbered, I don't have to do that. But yeah, I see the importance in that to do that because I do have a couple of charts that aren't numbered that I have to go in and number. And so update on this photo that I was thinking of. Okay, so I was talking about Tahitian crochet and mosaic crochet, and I was doing Tahitian crochet. Excuse me, I said that all wrong. Tapestry. I was doing tapestry crochet. So I was looking up tapestry crochet. I was looking up mosaic. Well, I finally looked up mosaic. So like one of the last tutorials I saw was on mosaic. When I clicked on it, I learned that it was a mosaic video and not a tapestry video, by looking at the thumbnail, I was already practicing tapestry. I thought it was tapestry, because in the thumbnail I could see the finished work and I could see the chart. So I'm looking at the finished work and I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, why 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 folk come mine don't look like that, kind of basically. um but not really. I was more so like, how how do I get my squares to look like that? Because there are tips and tricks that could be applied to tapestry crochet that I'm looking at. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to know, like, okay, so with my chart and my tapestry, I'm thinking, I was also thinking that was the nature of tapestry crochet, is the reason why my yarn looked like that. And yeah, I'm right. It's the nature of the stitching is why my tapestry crochet looked the way it is. Like, my tapestry crochet looks like it's supposed to. It looks like tapestry crochet. Um, with the stitching, and like no tips, no hacks, um, no techniques added, just basic tapestry crochet. Mine looks like that nature because that's what I did. Now, I was looking at this other video and I found out what it was, and it's mosaic. Uh, it's mosaic crochet that has um, the specific boxing with the specific coloring, versus tapestry crochet. It had, okay, so tapestry crochet has the stitching that kind of goes into the next stitches with the outlining of the item. If you don't do a technique that kind of smooths that out, there is techniques that smooth that out. But if you don't smooth it out, then it's like defined ridging of the next yarn color beside each yarn color. Now, with this mosaic crocheting, each stitch is its own color. There doesn't seem to be any ridging, any out stitching, connecting colors on the outlines of it. And yeah, I found out that's mosaic crochet that looks like that. That's what I was looking at. This towards this last viewing of a similar picture that I created. So that's why I was comparing it, because it was similar to what I created. So yeah, I've learned that there is a difference in the method, the names, the terminology. They're not the same. Because I didn't know. I was learning what's what. So yeah, I found out what's what. I found out that it's different, and I hadn't even tried it yet. I have it on my horizons to try. It looks like I'd like it. I like how it looks already. Like, I've been looking at it already, and I do like how it looks. And I was trying to get my tapestry to look like that, but that's not the nature of tapestry per se. I mean, I could get it close with the with the tips and tricks and techniques. It can come close to looking like mosaic crochet. But yeah, no, mosaic is its own skills. Like it has its own skills that I hadn't even attempted yet. So it's on my TBC to attempt mosaic crocheting. And I do have green. I thought I didn't have green. I saw a tapestry pattern for a mushroom, and it had a green background and other colors, and I was like, I thought I didn't have any green, and I got like two skeins of green. Um, that one of them, as you can see, the shamrock is made of the green, and the border is made of the green. So it's just like a different weight. It's a little thinner than the other yarn, to where I kind of almost thought to double it up, but I didn't want it to be thin, thicker, because then that creates something else as well to have it thicker than the other strand. So I just went with the single strand. But I do notice it's a bit stringy like that. So with the two strands put together, it'll be a little thicker. I don't know. I hadn't worked it out, but I think it would be thicker versus looking stringy like it does at the moment. I use the same size hook. Throughout the shamrock pattern. I was kind of thinking of using a 4 for the shamrock, but I went on ahead and used a 5